Welcome to our Adventuring to Antarctica webinar. My name is Chrisley Oxendine, and I'm a Creating Magic Vacations travel advisor. And my co-host is Andy Fuentes with Atlas Ocean Voyages. Now, thank you for all of you who are joining live, and for those of you who will be catching this on the replay. If you're watching this, it's probably because you have a very serious interest in traveling to Antarctica, or in some cases, if you already have a trip planned, you're probably wondering what the ins and outs are of getting down there and what you should expect during your trip. Now, for a lot of my clients and people just in general, Antarctica is a bucket list destination. And what I tell my clients who are currently working through their bucket list is, if this is a destination that you only intend to go to one time, then you want to do it right the first time and get the experience that you want, which means working with companies who are going to offer that to you. Now, there are a few cruise lines that do make the voyage down to Antarctica. A few of them are just going to give you they travel down there, you say hi, you say bye, you go home. Some other cruise lines make it a little bit difficult to actually join the voyage. Atlas makes it really easy to get down there and get the full experience of standing on the continent. So you can say that you've actually done it. You've seen the wildlife up close. You've got to do the excursions and do it all. Now, Atlas we do have a group voyage planned for January 15th, 2026 on board Atlas's World Voyager. Is a 9-night voyage. And because they're our host for the voyage, the group voyage, it only made sense to have them do this event with me. And as an added bonus, Andy has actually traveled to Antarctica, so he's able to give us the inside scoop of what it's like to travel there. And one of my favorite things about Andy is that he's not really going to sugarcoat anything for you. He's done the trip. He knows what it's like. He's not just an industry plug-in who's going to try to sell you on getting down there. He wants to make sure, just like me, that you get the full experience that you want and that this is actually for you. We'll be talking about the details of that cruise a little bit later on. Now, for those of you who want more information about that cruise, contact your Creating Magic Vacations travel advisor, and they'll be able to provide that information for you if you'd like to join us. If you don't have a Creating Magic Vacations travel advisor, I will be putting my information in the chat box and plugging it in at the end. So feel free to reach out to me for information on that voyage. And then during the presentation, if you have any questions, please plug it into the chat box. We are going to be answering questions at the end. And if you've already sent your questions in to me, I have sent them to Andy, and he will be answering all of those, hopefully during the presentation. Without further ado, I am going to hand it over to Andy to tell us all about traveling down there.
Thank you, Chrisley, and hi everybody. Let me go ahead and share my screen. It's going to be a very thorough, but I promise you, we're going to get all the great information. Actually, when I do have a video, so you actually get to have a sneak peek of what the continent of Antarctica would look like. And I'll tell you how that video was shot and all that good details in just a second. So, as Crystal said, my name is Andy Fuentes. I am the Regional Sales Director for Atlas Ocean Voyages. I have traveled to Antarctica this past February, and I'm going to tell you every single detail from the moment you step foot in Buenos Aires, Argentina, to the moment you return back to Buenos Aires, Argentina. And we're going to go through a little bit of Ushuaia. We're going to talk about the Drake's Passage. We're going to talk about stepping on the actual continent and how will that look like. And I'm sorry, my silhouette is about to be sunset here. So let me see if I can lighten up a little bit. Probably would help, probably not. It helps a little bit. But it's okay. You guys can see me what I look like. We're going to talk about actually the things you're going to do out there. How's the daily life going to look like? How's the nightlife going to look like? And basically kind of to explain everything from A to Z. Well, before we get into that, just want to tell you a little bit about Atlas. So Atlas Ocean Voyages is a cruise company that just started about 5 years ago in 2019. It's actually a great time to start a cruise line. We set sail in 2021, obviously because we couldn't do it in 2020. We've had our first ship, the World Navigator. World Navigator set sail in 2021 and went to her fourth voyage to Antarctica in 2021. And in 2022, we introduced World Traveler, and in 2023, we introduced World Voyager. So right now, we have three brand new ships. The oldest one just had her third birthday in November. So these are state of the art ships, very new, and I'll tell you a little bit about them and how they can navigate the waters of Antarctica. First off, just wanted to, this is an expedition. So a lot of folks say, well, this is a cruise. And I've been on several cruises. This is not a cruise. This actually is an experience. And it is an expedition. Now, but that being said, let's define what expedition is. Expedition is a transformative journey with a purpose. So what we are going to do is we're going to actually step onto the continent. You are going to experience everything, kind of a 360-degree view, the wildlife, the landscape. You learn about the history. You're going to basically be those explorers that came right before you. I would tell you, if you go to Antarctica, you're part of that 1% club. Because, fun fact, less than 1% of the world has ever traveled to Antarctica. And if this is your seventh continent, trust me, we're going to make it very fun and a memorable experience here for you. So Atlas is a yacht. It's a yacht expedition. Has less than 200 passengers. On average, Atlas Ocean Voyages travels 150 to 170 passengers. Antarctica, you probably would see about 160 passengers, but that's great. A lot of folks form that community. I mean, you're going to experience a life-changing vacation. And during this life-changing vacation, you're going to meet our wonderful crew. Our crew members, about 110 to 120 crew members. So you do have that one-to-one service. The yacht is very elegant. It's very intimate. You are going to have a chance to talk to your fellow passengers. We have an event that's called Meet the Neighbors. As you come outside, a food and beverage team brings wine, champagne, hors d'oeuvres, light bites, and folks gets to stand around in their stateroom and talk to their fellow neighbors. And you're going to meet a lot of folks from all over the world. So on this expedition, I want you to sit back, relax. What we like to say that this expedition is actually called a luxpedition. So you are going to have a lot of comforts that you're used to. But the cherry on top is this wonderful voyage you're going to experience. I always say, no matter what, if Antarctica is something for you, you're definitely going to love it. And I'll tell you a little story here about my wife. Just to kind of give you a little, to tee it up here. My wife did not want to go to Antarctica. This wasn't on her radar. She wanted to travel all over Europe, and probably most of you want to do the same thing before she even travels to Antarctica. She probably had Europe first, then possibly Australia, Asia. Antarctica is the very last thing. So I had to do a lot of convincing. So just to tee it up here, kind of the story how this whole trip comes in. But I will tell you, at the very end of the voyage, I heard the words that every husband wants to hear at least once in their lifetime. And that is, honey, you were right. So I'll tell you what all that entails here in just a minute. But at Atlas, we have an adventure for every type of explorer. So if after hearing this, if Antarctica is not something that you want to partake in, we do have other adventures. We have Epicurean expeditions in the Mediterranean. And we also have cultural expeditions in other destinations. South America, Caribbean. We just announced Canada. So definitely, if something that you want to take Antarctica, and maybe possibly the next time you want to take something in Europe, or you want to take Europe first and then maybe Antarctica, definitely talk to your Creating Magic vacation advisor. They'll tell you every these unique itineraries. But I would tell you, once you step foot on Atlas, you definitely do not want to go back to a bigger sized ship. Okay. Let's talk about the main attraction, what we're here to listen to, and that is our epic Antarctica expedition. So, if you're gonna take a 9-night cruise, just like Crystal was saying about, she has extremely great pricing. I mean, she has pricing that right now does not exist. So once she tells you all the details, I promise you, shop around if you want to. You're not going to find it. She took out this group a while ago. We do protect the pricing. So definitely, it's a great deal for you to visit. the continent of Antarctica. Our voyages to Antarctica are all inclusive. You start your journey in the wonderful city of Buenos Aires. So all you have to do is to get flights and ensure your Creating Magic Vacation advisor will help you out getting flights from wherever you are into Buenos Aires. You have to get there the night prior. The reasons why is in the price, we also include a one night stay in Buenos Aires. The hotel is the Hilton, and the Hilton is located in Puerto Madero, which is in downtown Buenos Aires. Um, the Puerto Madero is kind of like saying Times Square in New York or Lincoln Road in Miami, or Rodeo Drive in Los Angeles. It's kind of like where the eateries and very fine shops are. So it's very safe. U.S. dollars will take you a very long way. A fun fact: I went a few days before, because I've never been to Buenos Aires, and we ate at a Michelin star restaurant, and I had eight of my friends, and we all ate with wine and steak and the whole thing. We ate for $300. That was the tab, not per person. That's the entire tab for 8 people with bottles of wine and everything. So definitely, I recommend if you've not been to Buenos Aires, definitely do so. But we have a hotel the day prior. Don't party too much. I know you're gonna be tempted, but don't party too much. Don't stay out very late. The reasons for that is because we want to pick you up the day after sail day. We're gonna pick you up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Yes, folks, it is an early day. There'll be coffees, pastries for you later at the hotel. You can definitely grab as we will pick you up from Buenos Aires to the air back to the airport. As we're gonna take a charter flight that's private, that's just us, into Ushuaia. And it's a 3 hour flight from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia. And I'll show you here what that looks like. So this is your 9 night voyage. And you're there from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia. So it's a pretty long, it's a little hike. Ushuaia is a very small town. It is the most southern town in the entire world. So definitely you want to take your cameras, take pictures. Definitely want to get your passport stamps, and I'll tell you a kind of little hints of that here in just a second. Uh, but it's the airport's very small, so we have the charter flight. You leave around 7 a.m. So we gotta get to the airport around 5:30. It's only a 20-minute drive from the hotel to the airport. We're gonna whistle on through security. There's no one there at the airport. It's just us. So we're gonna check you in very quickly. Bags and everything. It's our own private line, our own private bags, all that good stuff, and you get there about 10 minutes tops. You're out into the terminal area. There's little eateries out at the airport. So definitely if you get your pastry, if you woke up late, don't panic. There'll be a lot of little restaurants there. You can go and grab yourself like a little snack or something like that. When you touch down to Ushuaia, don't worry about your bags. Just take it out of the carousel and you're gonna see a staging area. You just leave your bags there. They're gonna magically appear in your stateroom. I promise you when you get to the ship. But you are going to go to your first excursion in Ushuaia. Ushuaia has a very large national park, Tierra de Fuego. And that's about a 4 hour excursion. And we're gonna bus you over there. We're going to have various stops. You can take pictures. The landscape is gorgeous, beautiful mountain ranges, beautiful hills, free animals such as horses all around. And you're going to go with our expedition leader, and they're going to tell you a little bit about the history. You also get to visit the southernmost post office. Folks, definitely send yourself a postcard. It is very small. Send yourself a postcard that you've been to there, that you've been to Antarctica. It gets there in about 6 months. That's really Pony Express. But you're gonna receive it. But I'm just kidding. About 3 months. That's seriously the time it gets to the United States. But it's really cool. I mean, it's a good little gift. You're done with your Antarctica voyage, and all of a sudden the postcard comes in, and you start remembering that great time you had in Antarctica. Then when you come to the ship at 2 p.m., it is definitely go time. You're on the ship. Check-in takes about 15 minutes, and that's from ground, that's out of the bus into your stateroom. Takes about 15 minutes. You come onto the ship. There's no little zigzagging around ports or anything like that. There's no pictures, no photographers chasing after you for your picture. Nothing like that. When you come in, you whistle on through security. You sit down to our lounge. You grab a glass of champagne, grab some hors d'oeuvres. and we're gonna take your picture and give your pass, and then our staff will escort you to your stateroom, and that's it. Takes about, like I said, 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes even less than that. Most folks just hang around the lounge because hey, free champagne and free hors d'oeuvres. Hey, sign me up. But like people like take their stateroom, settle in, get freshen up, walk around the ship, and at 5 p.m. we leave to the Drake's Passage. So this is the itinerary, what it looks like. The 9-day voyage. You go out of Ushuaia into the Drake's Passage. You're spent on the continent 4 days, and you have 2 excursions every single day. So you talk about 8 excursions in total, and then you come back into Ushuaia. So you come back to the Drake's Passage. If this date does not work, or you're saying, you know what, Andy, I want something more. I want more. It's my only time in Antarctica. I definitely want to do something more. We do have 11 nights. It's not part of the deal that we're offering you today, but definitely we can work something out if that date doesn't work for you, or you want to do the 11 nights. 11 nights goes deeper into the continent. Has you now have Instead of 4 days in the continent, you have 6 days on the continent. That's 12 excursions that you are doing all around the continent. So again, a little bit of flexible. I know Crystal Lee said that some of you are wondering about flying the Drake. We do have that. We do have 5 days for 2025 and 7 days for 2026. Here's my little public service announcement about that, and we'll get to the Drake here in just a minute. If you fly the Drake, pack your patience. This is not JFK. This is not LAX, ATL. It's nothing like that. This is not an airport. It's a strip. It's a land strip. That's it. That means to say that the perfect has to be crystal perfect in order for us to land in King George Island. King George Island is right here, is the tip of the peninsula of Antarctica. In King George Island, also, you have to take a Zodiac to get from land onto the ship. Ushuaia, you have a whole port. You can get onto the ship very easily. Here, you have to take a Zodiac to get to the ship. So why am I telling you this? Because a lot of times, folks that fly the Drake, because they have fear of the Drake, and I will address the Drake here in just a minute. When they find out what the Drake is all about, they're like, oh, I wish somebody would have told me, I would have done this. But some folks, and I will tell you, I would definitely do recommend flying the Drake if you have extreme motion sickness, meaning to say that you cannot ride a roller coaster without throwing up or without getting dizzy or something like that. If that is you and you speak to your doctor says, you know what, motion is just not in your cards, I definitely would recommend flying the Drake. Other than that, if you're like light, if you're a little bit light and you're worried about the seasickness, I'm telling you, you have nothing to worry about. So let's talk about the Drake. The Drake's Passage is about a day and a quarter to 2 days tops. Now, the Drake's Passage, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is the most roughest place on Earth. It is. Reason being is and I have this cup here, I don't know if you can see it, but think about a bottom of a cup. The bottom of a cup is a big circle. That's Antarctica. On the Earth, that's Antarctica. Around Antarctica, you don't have any landmass. The ocean kind of just goes, it speeds without anything stopping it. You also have the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic, and Southern Oceans crashing into each other. That's the movement you find. That is the Drake's Passage. Now, if you're saying to yourself, well, Andy, that's very terrifying. Well, think about a roller coaster. A roller coaster, when you go up, 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 you're terrified. But when you go down, you're going around in circles like that, you're fine. Is that going to happen to you? No. Our captains have instruments that can tell where the roughest weather is at. And the reasons why it takes about a day and a half to 2 days, or sometimes even a day and a quarter, is because they're trying to find the best spots for them to sail around these rough areas. So, are you going to get any movement? It depends. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. These ships are designed to go into the Drake's Passage. But there was a video that someone took a video of a cup sitting on a windowsill. And the windows outside the window, it looks like Armageddon. It looks like the waves are coming up, crashing into the windows and everything like that, as you probably would think the Drake's Passage would be. That cup does not move. It doesn't move. Not doesn't have any water spilled or anything like that. Any drop, it stays still. These ships has big stabilizers, just like the Oasis of the Seas. So think about those stabilizers that keep that mega monster of the sea still are the stabilizers that we use to keep still onto the Drake's Passage. So it's very stabilized. You're not going to feel as much as you think. I know YouTube does the service of, you're seeing people going, oh, and they're doing that. That's all video. That's all whatever. Now, I will tell you that these ships, these expedition ships, are designed for the Drake's Passage. Fun fact, a lot of folks think is, well, if I go on a bigger cruise lines, a bigger means to say that it doesn't move. You're incorrect. Those ships are not designed for the Drake's Passage. You are going to feel more movement on a bigger ship than a smaller vessel. And that's the reasons why, because the smaller vessels are designed to navigate through the Drake's Passage. Now, what is there to do in the Drake's Passage? So you're 2 days, let's say the max time, 2 days on Drake's Passage. Well, this is the time to get acclimated to what's going to happen in Antarctica. So you're going to have a lot of lectures. We do have our team that's going to tell you about getting on a Zodiac, about kayaking, about camping in Antarctica. You're going to also know about the birds, the whales, the penguins you're going to see. And you can either go in the auditorium to listen to the lectures, or you can watch it in the comfort of your stateroom. I recommend order room service with a glass of wine. I tell you, you can order alcohol to your room service, and it's all complimentary. And enjoy the show, enjoy the lectures. That's what I did, and had a fabulous time. You're also going to fit for your parka. Your parka are yours to keep, and we're going to ask you for your size, but definitely sometimes folks, sometimes they're a little bit big, a little bit small, and you get to fit your parka, and you get to take that parka home. We're also going to fit for your boots. Please do not take your hiking boots. I know some folks are really adamant about bringing their hiking boots. While I hiked Zion in Utah, I hiked the Grand Canyon. I know I hiked this forest. I want to bring my boots. Not Antarctica friendly. Leave them at home. We are going to give you boots for you to hike, for you to go around. These boots are loaners. They're not to take home. Please don't take them home. They're not Chanel boots. You definitely do want to leave it here with us, okay? Especially when you find out what these boots are stepping on. So, with that being said, my question is what to pack. A lot of folks say, well, what am I? I mean, what's the temperature like? And do I have to bring all my heavy coats, something like that? I would tell you that the average temperature in Antarctica is 40 degrees. That's above zero. So that's not bad. It's colder right now in probably at home. 40 degrees tops is honestly the average temperature in Antarctica. Sometimes it does get a little colder, sometimes it get a little bit hotter, but 40 degrees is usually kind of the average temperature. So what to bring? Well, if you've been to Alaska, basically it's what you brought to Alaska. A lot of layers. Layers are your best friend. And it's very casual on the ship. So you don't have to bring your suits, your evening gowns, anything like that. You can leave those at home. Jeans, casual wear, that's fine on the ship. Sweats, hoodies, sweaters, whatever keeps you warm, that's fine. Keep in mind 40 degrees outside. It is going to be very windy. So the 40 degrees can feel a little cooler than what you're used to. But again, if I've seen people in tank tops, I've seen people in t-shirts. Again, I'm a Floridian. Anything below 60 degrees is Antarctica for me. So I definitely did layer up. I wore a base layer, I wore a mid layer, and I wore my parka. Sometimes it did get hot that I took off my mid layer off and I had my base layer. Same thing with my bottoms. I had my bottom layer on. I bought it for Amazon for like $20. My pants. Please do not bring your jeans to the Zodiac or outside. They can get wet. And if they get wet, you're going to be cold. Do not bring your jeans outside. What you need to bring is snow pants, ski pants. That's fine. Something insulated, something waterproof. You definitely want to have that. Gloves, same thing, waterproof. You definitely want to have that. You're going on Zodiacs, and Zodiacs are these black rafts, which I will show you here in a minute. And it does get a little bumpy sometimes. Don't worry, you're not going to fall. Everything is fine. But water does splash in, and sometimes they get on you, and you definitely want to wear something waterproof because if not, you're going to be cold. Um, Definitely, if you wear like some type of hat, something warm to keep your head warm. You don't need scarves. You don't need earmuffs. You don't need anything like that. So that's it. Really, the common mistake people in Antarctica is they overpack. So definitely, base layers are fine. Two base layers, a top and bottom. You have your parka, something to wear on the ship, a little bit around. Until you are going to change because you're going to wear your outside wear and then you come back and you wear inside wear. And I'll tell you all that in just a minute. So that's basically Drake's Passage. Is there entertainment? Yes, there's gonna be night entertainment. We do have live music, we do have cabaret style shows. It's nothing like the big ship. So we're not going to have hairspray or hair gel or Mamma Mia or Papa Pia or somebody jumping off a ceiling. That doesn't exist. It's a yacht. It's not a cruise. Same thing with we don't have piano bars or anything like that. We do have lounges. We have two lounges on board. That there's a more vibrant lounge where again we do have karaoke. We do have games. We do have cabaret shows. And more of a quiet lounge if you just want to have conversations. If you want to play board games, card games, we do have that. It's a great time to get rekindle relationships, whether it be with your friends, your spouse, or even yourself. This is a great place to really to stop and smell the roses. So you cruise the Drake. What next? Well, when you wake up, this is what you see. Beautiful, picturesque landscape. The landscape, honestly, is kind of like the hidden guest. Like many people don't know about the landscape. Icebergs the size of skyscrapers, size of buildings. You have ice glaciers, you have mountain ranges, you have all of that. Question here I'm gonna answer. Do you need goggles or yak track? So it depends on you. I didn't see much people wear. I did see people wear the growlers. I wore a growler just to cover my face because it is very windy and I don't want to get my face a little tapped up. So that's up to you. Um, Again, I saw folks wear it. Some folks do not wear it. I saw more folks do not wear it because you're not outside for that much of a long time. So it's up to you to answer your question. It's up to you. Um, Going back to this here, the ship does go around into the continent, and you have a chance to actually step foot on the continent of Antarctica. And because of our size, we're going to go to the nooks and crannies and crevices of the entire continent. And this is just kind of like these pictures, they don't do justice of what you're going to see. What I love about Antarctica is when I stepped outside and I had a balcony I saw the first icebergs coming in, and I was the Floridian with the parka and the shorts and the sandals. Don't judge me. But when I got my full wear, my full gear, I went outside and closed my eyes and I heard nothing. I didn't hear a plane go by, a phone, a conversation, nothing. It was me and the elements, and that was it. And that's what I like most about Antarctica: the calm, serene, the other powers at work out there, and there's nothing man-made there. Zero. So that calmness, everything, it's just you're at a different spot. And sea ice, as far as the eye can see. And sometimes you have these big sea ice, sometimes you have little. It depends on the time of year you go, you see more sea ice than none. But it's just a different area. And of course, the animals. The animals are also one of the main attractions that you will see. You are going to step in their habitat. You will see penguins, seals, whales, all different types. All right, so you're done with the Drake. You just arrived in Antarctica. Now it's going to be your first full day of Antarctica. So a lot of folks ask me this question. Well, Andy, what is there to do on the ship? Like, can I enjoy breakfast? Yes, you can. We have dining rooms, we have public areas, but don't get caught up on what to do on the ship. Do think about what you're going to do out of the ship, which is very opposite of what we think about when it comes to cruising. When it comes to cruising, we always think about what to do on board. Reasons why is you were there on the ship for a long time. But here, once you get to the continent, there is no stopping. You're going to be outside as much as possible. So let me explain a typical day in Antarctica. So you wake up at 7 in the morning. You are waking up at 7 in the morning. You are going to have breakfast. And then if your group is early, then you get to go outside onto the continent first. But we have groups, sometimes depending on how many people, let's just say for argument's sake, 160 passengers. So you have groups of 40. So you have group A, group B, group C, and group D. This day, we have group A and group B to go first. Group C and D to go later in the morning. That means group C and D, when you get that wake up call at 7 a.m., you can roll over and go back to sleep. A and B, you have to get up. But don't worry, C and D will pay the next day because they're the ones going to wake up in the morning, and A and B will be the ones that will roll and go back to sleep. So A and B, you having breakfast, you're getting ready. What we do is in the mudroom, which that's what we call it, it's on the lower part of the ship. We have a whole cubby hole for you, like a locker. Think about what the athletes have, like professional football players or professional basketball players, these lockers. They're all categorized by staterooms, and you get to go there and you get to put your winter gear there first. And now you come downstairs with whatever you have on. Some folks have t-shirts and sweats and sandals, whatever, and you change from your ship wear to your outside wear. This is where your parkers are, your pants, and all that good stuff. Two people can fit there very comfortably. You put on your whole gear, you put on your life jacket, and now as you gear up, yes, you're going to look like that kid from A Christmas Story. You're going to waddle over to the wall, and then you're going to go onto the Zodiac. What does a Zodiac look like? Well, Zodiacs look like so. And I'll go back to the other slide. This is a Zodiac. This is what you're going to ride. Now, I'll show you a little bit here, a little better picture of that. So this is a Zodiac. This is what you're going to ride. 10 to 12 people can fit in there. Comfortably, we fit 10, 12 if we have like children. Children, by the way, I'm not talking about small children. I'm talking about more teenagers, high school age, maybe older middle school age are great for that. So let me come back here. So your first day, we're going to do a Zodiac Safari. What is a Zodiac Safari? A Zodiac Safari, you're going to get onto the Zodiac and you're going to go around all these nooks, crevices, and crannies of the continent. Sometimes you go around an iceberg, around the cave, or something of that nature. And we're going to show you the habitats where the animals are and the whole landscape of Antarctica. You're also going to do, besides a Zodiac landing, it's going to be a Zodiac Safari. You're going to do a Zodiac landing. What is a Zodiac landing? Well, this is it right here. It's actually you step foot onto the continent. You get to go around and explore the continent. So we're going to tell you beforehand if it's going to be a landing or it's going to be a safari. So you can dress accordingly. Safaris, I definitely would tell you to add another layer because it gets a little cooler. Landings, it's going to get hotter because now you're moving. And when you're moving, some areas can get a little hot than others. So we're going to tell you exactly what we're going to do. And this is also for you folks are a little bit nervous about activity levels. So you don't have to be a marathon runner. You don't have to be in tip-top shape to enjoy Antarctica. We have different activities for all different types of activity levels. Some folks like to take pictures. Some folks just want to walk around a little bit. Some folks, like so, want to take large hikes. It's up to you. We are honestly doing everything at your own pace. So some folks just want to walk around, want to see the landscape, take pictures, take it in. We have our expedition leaders, our expedition teams, rather, on the continent spread out over the areas. And we do actually mark the areas that you're going on. And we mark the territory for you. We mark the path. And you can go around and ask an expedition leader a question if you want to know more fun facts, a story, or something like that. They are there to assist you. They are there also to assist you if you have any special needs, like you can need assistance walking, or you have a cane or something like that. We definitely are the team there that will help you as well. Zodiac safaris, again, it's like, so you're on the Zodiac, you don't move, you look around, the Zodiac does stop, it will take pictures, go slow, or something like that. So you will have an opportunity to see everything. On a day, you have two different types of activities every single day. So in the morning, like I said, you go out, you come back, usually in the continent for an hour, hour and a half. You come back, you have lunch. In the afternoon, we change positions, we go to a different location, and then you go out and do it all over again. And you come back for dinner. Once you dinner settled in, folks, I would tell you all you want to do is sleep. You're tired because you're getting ready to do it the next day. But if for those night birds, like, you know what, I want to do something, we do have activities for you at nighttime. The ship shuts down around 1 o'clock in the morning, and then going for the next day. That's on the continent only. When we're not on the continent, when the Drake, it shuts down around 4 o'clock in the morning. So don't worry. If you're those night birds, you're gonna have a chance to go out there. But I promise you, you definitely want to get some sleep after this because you're gonna be exhausted. I even had one of my friends that she's a night owl. She, no matter what, she was knocked out by 10 p.m. because she was exhausted. This is honestly, you're always on the go. There's no time honestly for anything. Not even to enjoy the spa. The spa is fantastic. It's $125 for a 60-minute massage. You get to enjoy that on the Drake. Or if you're if you can get in the morning, if your excursion is later on during the day. So, what animals you're going to see? You're going to see penguins. You're going to see three species of penguins on the continent. The Gentoo penguin is right here. That's the third largest penguin. Second to that is going to be the emperor penguin, and then I'm sorry, the king penguin, and the largest penguin is the emperor penguin. You're not going to see those. You might see an emperor, but you might not see. Typically, you don't. Emperor penguins and king penguins are more in the Falkland Islands and Patagonia. You're going to see a lot of gentoos, though, like hundreds of thousands of gentoos. The next one that's smaller is the chinstrap penguin. It's chinstrap because it has a little chin strap right here. That small penguin, that's teeny beanie. It's really cute. And then the Adele penguin, the Adelie penguin, not to be confused with the Adele penguin. It doesn't sing, but the Adelie penguin, that's also like the typical tuxedo penguin. You are going to see those habitats. Other than penguins, you are going to see albatrosses, seals, and whales. Humpback whales are the most popular one. They're the one you're going to see that, but you also will see orcas. You're going to see sperm penguins. You're going to see fin penguin. Not fin. I'm sorry. Sperm whales, blue whales, fin whales. You're going to see that, and all type of birds. We do have an ornithologist that it's there that explain everything about birds. We do have experts in whales. We have experts in seals. So you are going to take a deeper dive in knowing the animals. Once your activity is once your days are over, the fourth day, you come back. We have a nice dinner. When we head back to the Drake's Passage to go head home. In the Drake's Passage, coming back, I'm telling you, most people like to explore the ship. They like to partake in some of our activities. 100,000%. Most people like to sleep because you don't have to wake up early in the morning. You just sleep, and these beds are very comfortable. Also, the showers are large. About 5'9", have a large reach, and if I extend my arms, I can barely touch the wall. That's how these showers are. So, if folks take the shower, partake of the spa, they go up to the hot tubs. So, folks like to relax on the way back because, again, their journey is about to be over, and then finally, the ninth day, you wake up and you're back in Ushuaia. We will take you on the motor coaches back to the airport and we'll fly you back to Buenos Aires, and you will catch your flight after 9 p.m. because all flights to the United States fly after 9 p.m. in Buenos Aires. And that is your Antarctica journey in a nutshell. Now, things to enhance your Antarctica journey. So I didn't talk about that. So to enhance your Antarctica journey, we have two special activities that are not included. And the first activity is going to be kayaks. You can kayak on the continent. Keep in mind that if you are kayaking, it is for expert kayakers. If this is your first time kayaking, it's not recommended for you. We are going to take you to a physical. So the physical is for you to prove that you can get on and off the kayak and what to do if you fall. If this is your first time kayaking or your second time, you probably don't know how to do that perfectly. So you're probably not going to pass the physical. So folks, just word to the wise. If this is your first time, please don't. If you're an expert kayaker, definitely do. We'll give you all the gear and everything that you need complimentary. Um, Kayakers, it's $200 per trip. And this the reasons why is we want to give a chance of all folks to experience the kayaking. The Creating Magic group has a $200 shipboard credit per person. Hey, so you get that kayak covered. The most popular excursion that most people take to enhance their experience is camping on the continent. Yes, folks, you get to camp on the continent. At 5 p.m., we'll give you dinner. 8 p.m., you're out. You dig your bed. We have tents. I'm not tents. I'm sorry. Sleeping bags for you. We do have some gear for you, and you sleep under the stars. No tents. Sleep under the stars in Antarctica. That's the excursion that sells out the first. Bathroom situation, I leave that to your imagination. There's no porta potties. There's no nothing. There's no man-made out there. So I'll leave it to your imagination. The most common response people ask when they ask that have done the experience about bathrooms is, I just hold it till I get back on the ship. 5 a.m. is when you get back onto the ship. And we have a big breakfast for you. The use of the restrooms, and most people that have gone to the camping sleep. So those are the things that you can do to enhance your Antarctic experience. The ship, again, this is World Voyager. It's 200 passengers. We do have on the ship, we have everything included. Gratuities are included, drinks are included, non-alcoholic and alcoholic. 24-hour room service is included. We do have a fixed menu for you for room service. If you have a suite, we have a little bit more variety. Butler service also in the suites. Regular staterooms, stateroom attendants. We have a lot of variety when it comes to drinks, and then obviously your meals are all included as well. We have 2 restaurants on the 2.5 restaurants on the ship. The first one is the main dining room is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinners. Breakfast and lunch is sit-down service and buffet style. Dinner service is all sit-down style. And we have also the specialty dining room on the top deck that is that also is for reservations only. Main dining room is not. Main dining room is also casual. You can come in and out as you please. So with that, I'm going to give you a little tour of the ship. Oh, if you'll let me go. One thing I forgot to cover, and I just remember as this video went, the zodiac. So keep in mind that you will have 3 people on each side to help you on the zodiac. So you have 6 people to get you on. No matter if you're fit or if you have special needs, we have to guide you onto the zodiac. That is for your safety. Keep in mind, like I said, you have these gear on, you're wandering around. Definitely, these folks will help you get onto the zodiac. Once you get onto the zodiac, you sit down. The driver does stop if you want to move around, want to sit next to your spouse or your friends, whatever. But the best advice is once you get into the zodiac, just sit. Just let the guide know once you cast off onto the ship, then you can move around. They stop and you can move around very safely. Staterooms. So the staterooms here is I like these accommodations are incredible. 270 square feet. We don't have interiors. We have very limited ocean views. Everything is going to be balconies or better. Balconies outside. You have the veranda that you can actually step outside. That's the one I had. It's great because again the views of the icebergs and everything is just amazing. Um, Queen size beds, again, very large showers, very large accommodations. We also have what's called the Horizon, and Horizons have a bigger living room, but it has a floor to ceiling window when the windows come down. Most people in Antarctica, they want to have that, so they don't want too much of the cold coming in. So it's up to you. If you want the balcony, you can step outside, or you basically bring the outside in with the Horizon, which is the floor to ceiling windows. Again, that top window does come down. But you also have a very larger living room. Suites, we also have 10 suites. There's 98 staterooms with 10 suites. Suites, we have 2 Journey suites at 382 square feet. They have the walk-in closet. Discovery suite has the large living room, walk-in closet, and vanity area. We have one of those. And Navigator suite, we have 2 of those. It's actually 500 square feet. It does have the bathtub, shower, large living room, large vanity area, large walk-in closet. This is basically the suite of all suites. We also have something that's not pictured here, deluxe staterooms. If you're bringing someone, let's say you bring your teenager, if you're bringing another adult, you want that privacy, deluxe staterooms that are not suite class, so they don't have the suite price. Deluxe staterooms, if they want a balcony or a horizon, has the bathroom in the living room, has accommodations for the third person in the living room, and then has the privacy of the master bedroom for the 2 people. You can actually shut the door to the living room to create that privacy. We do have those. All right. So this is all Antarctica in a nutshell, and I gave you a lot of information. I don't see questions, so hopefully I answered all of your questions. If you don't, please put them in as I play the video, and I definitely will address them. But without further ado, I want to give you a sneak peek on what it is to travel to Antarctica with Atlas Ocean Voyages. And here it goes.
When I was young, for me, speaking of Antarctica was like speaking of Mars or the Moon or some Jupiter or whatever other planet. And being here right now, oh, it's a passion.
In my wildest dreams, I didn't really imagine myself ever being here. Because it's just such it almost feels like another planet.
This has literally been a life-changing trip, really an opportunity of a lifetime.
It's just mind-blowing, like something that you'll never get to experience again. I just feel so fortunate to be here.
It gives you goosebumps. It's the experience of a lifetime.
You just had like a rush of adrenaline and energy in your body.
Am I really here? It's really powerful.
Paddling through the ice floes, getting up near the icebergs was a one-in-a-lifetime experience.
All the different colors of the icebergs.
You see all these turquoise, beautiful colors.
Yeah, they have like different shades of blue.
We were within 2 meters of this massive humpback whale. Eventually it woke up and then just deep dived right next to us, so we had an amazing shot of its tail, and fantastic.
One of the coolest things I think you can do when you come to Antarctica on an expedition cruise is camp here on the continent. It's a penguin right here. Right here.
Honestly, I had zero interest in doing the polar plunge. It was actually really fun, and it was over so fast, and really a highlight. Now I kind of want to do it again. They should offer it at 8 a.m.
The guests appreciate the comfort of the ship, the fact that the ship is pretty much brand new.
Showers are the biggest that I've ever seen on a cruise ship.
We had a beautiful window that looked out over everything, and we could lower it and look out, and we had a big sitting area.
I thought that was top notch.
You will not go hungry.
Everything is so amazing.
And we want to try every single thing.
And the staff in the dining room have become people we look forward to seeing 3 times a day.
And they don't repeat the menu either. Every day is just something different. It's
A little bit Brazilian yesterday,
yeah,
right?
they do, yeah.
The guests go off the ship very happy and feeling, and actually a lot of them emotion, you know. The last couple of days you feel that.
There you go. You don't need to change anything. It's perfect. Yeah, a great trip. Look, I'm crying.
Antarctica has that vastness that makes you feel small, but also part of the bigger world around you. There he is.
This for me is the peak. It doesn't get any better than this, I don't think. I'm not sure how we top this next year.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Christina.
And we are Atlas World Travelers.
I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Tim. And we're Atlas World Travelers.
We are Atlas World Travelers. Go out.
And we are Atlas World Travelers. I'm Rick. I'm Alice. And we are Atlas World Travelers.
We are Atlas World Travelers. Come on!
So that last piece with the ladies, there was actually the gear that you wear for the kayak. So all those gear we definitely provided for you. This is my favorite video because it definitely shows you everything of Antarctica. By the way, none of those people were actors. We have a travel advisor that asks for a cruise every single year, and we take them. And he brings his camera crew and everything. He does everything. And he films around. So those folks that you see there actually was actual guests that travel on the voyage. So he definitely captured, that moment that they saw this beautiful, pristine area, and they're telling you all about it. So hopefully we get a chance to host you, and you can tell your story, and you can become an Atlas World Traveler. So with that, thank you very much, folks, for your attention, and I'll turn it over to Crystal for some final thoughts.
So thank you, Andy. We had one question that was put in the chat while you were presenting. It says, is there something we should pack to secure our cell phones, cameras, so they can be used on the Zodiac?
Yes, so Walmart. Well, Walmart has it too. Amazon has these pouches. So just put waterproof pouch. They're like $10. And yes, you can put your phone in there. Some folks, I had it for my iPhone. I had actually a waterproof pack, which I brought it to. I didn't use it as much, but you can bring that. Again, it's like $10, $20 on Amazon. And you can put in there like a towel or water bottles. We don't have plastics on board. We're sustainable. So we do give you actually a water bottle for you to use. And they have refillable stations all around. So most people pack that, put in their waterproof bag. Cell phones, they have their little pouches. They have like a lanyard that had the pouches, everything like that. So yeah, you definitely get that.
And I know that's just something that we've talked about when we were talking about putting this group together was when the best time to visit Antarctica is.
So best time to visit is actually January. January and February is the best time to visit. The reasons why is in November and December, it is cooler. It's actually colder than anything else because the transition from spring to summer. Keep in mind that we are there. There's summertime. It's opposite of what we are. And November, December is when the whole, like mainly the birds, but also the seals and the whales are nesting. They're preparing for birth for their young. In January and February, mainly January, these animals are born. So you see a lot more of the babies, going around, penguins, and you see the calves of the whales, and also see the pups of the seals. And the weather also is a little warmer, and less snowy. There is going to be snowfall, don't get me wrong. It's not in Antarctica unless you see snow, rain, wind, sunshine, and all in one day. But it's less of a wild weather. It's more predictable in January and February.
And then I wanted to backtrack a little bit. At the beginning, you said about the stabilizers. You were comparing them to Oasis of the Seas, which, for those of you who don't know, that is one of Royal Caribbean's mega ships, essentially. The capacity is about max capacity, just passengers, not including crew, is about 6,700 people. And we're talking about the yacht, Atlas's yacht, for this voyage would be about 150 people. So it's really amazing just to see the waves in the background, and this cup and the water in it is just still. Like you would expect the water to be sloshing out and furniture to be overturned like you see in some of the other videos when people are looking up the Drake, and the water really was just still.
How many hours of daylight? So the 9-day cruise, because it's not crossing the Antarctic Circle. So nighttime is about 10 p.m. That's when you see sunset. It's 10 p.m. Once you cross the Antarctic Circle, and again, this 9-night cruise does not. But if you do an 11-day and you cross the Antarctic Circle, that's when you're going to find that the sun either doesn't set at all, or it's a very late sunset, like maybe 1, 2 a.m. in the morning.
And then we have another question. Can you see the southern lights during the trip?
No. And the reason is exactly what I said is, depending on the season, Southern Lights, what I gathered, it's more in their winter time, which it definitely is unbearable, for us to go.